or maybe a flatbed scanner for grocery stores. So we're resellers of the hardware, and then we create the software. And so the software is it's the central nervous system of the restaurant or the retail store. So it runs your employee time tracking, payroll reporting, inventory control, all the analytics. So I started the company with my co-founder Christopher Chabera in late 2010, and we got into it because we were trying to integrate into legacy point of sales. We were doing an iPhone app, and realized the problems with integrating into the legacy point of sales. It had very, very close API, and it was just a very big pain point for the restaurant owners and the retail owners. Very archaic technology, still used back office servers, nothing was hosted into the cloud. So that was about 6 months after the iPad came out, and we put 2 and 2 together and said, hey, let's create the next generation point of sale system on the iPad. And so that's exactly what we've created. We raised $3.7 million in 2011. We're in companies like Goodwill is one of our clients, Popeye's Chicken, Little Caesars, just signed up Tutti Frutti, Pizza Patron, 110 store chain in Texas. So we really focus on not the micro merchants, so not like the street carts or the one terminal. We focus on the large enterprises. So that's kind of what we do. And so just to give you a little background about me, I met Larry, I think when I was a senior at Stanford. I was an athlete, I was a swimmer at Stanford, and I was not really at all into entrepreneurship. I wasn't really into computer science even. I was an athlete, and that's what I did. I was a swimmer, and that's what my passion was back then. This was about 7 years ago. So I loved my passion in life was to race. I don't know how many of you guys are athletes or have ever competed. Larry is, yes. Robert is, yes. So actually my passion in life, I wasn't really that, I went to Stanford, but I wasn't even really that into school, to be honest. My passion in life was to race, and was swimming. And I loved swimming because it was standing up on the blocks, and you train. In swimming, you train more than any other sport. You're up at 5:30 in the morning. You're working out about 5 hours a day. It's a lot of grind, and you work really hard. Your coach is constantly yelling at you, and it's very up and down. It's very stressful. On the Stanford swim team, there is about a quarter of the team were Olympians. I was recruited by the 6-time Olympic coach Richard Quick. That's why I decided to go to Stanford, was because of him, to train under him. And so that was my passion. And what I loved about swimming, and how I see it very translate into entrepreneurship, and what I'm doing now is because you're standing up on that blocks and you're not sure what's going to happen. You've trained for over a year for the big race. I love it because it's very, very competitive. You have the best in the world in the lane next to you, and you stand up there and you have to deal with uncertainty, and you have to deal with very high pressure situations, and you have to deal with putting yourself out there. And that feeling and that passion is what I had in swimming. And so when I stopped swimming, I honestly didn't know. I was pretty lost. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't really have a passion, because swimming had been my passion ever since I was little, ever since high school, all throughout college. So when I stopped swimming, I knew that I could find a passion, with work somehow, but it just took me a while to find that. So after I graduated from Stanford, I went to go work for someone else in PR, and I thought, oh, PR would be cool. You're talking to people, you're dealing with a lot of people, but it was very I learned about myself. It wasn't, it was very, very bureaucratic for me, and I didn't really like working for other people. I didn't like wearing a three-piece suit, and so I said, okay, well, if I'm wearing the three-piece suit, I might as well go work in finance. So then I went to go work in finance in London, and that was interesting. I actually worked in venture capital, and so I saw a bunch of the entrepreneurs, and it still kind of didn't really sink in what I just still had to just try a lot of different jobs and a lot of different paths. I also sold whale-tail tortilla chips for a professor actually at Stanford. And you know them? Yeah, they're doing really well now. Yeah. So they're doing really well. So I sold these whale-tail, and I really like to sell actually. I learned from that. I love to sell. And then it wasn't until I actually hurt my back 3 years ago that I actually couldn't work. So I couldn't work for someone else, which was a blessing in disguise. I was going to do back surgery, and so then I ended up having to go home to Santa Barbara and just started trying. Decided just to take the stance and kind of take a jump and say, what I really wanted to do was start my own business, and that was what I was really passionate about. And I didn't ever start. So starting, I think starting your own business, you go through different stages. And for me, at that point in my stage, I was just trying to think of an idea, of what I wanted to start. And I went through lots of different ideas. I don't know if you guys can relate, but I mean, I was going to do a swimsuit distribution business. I started a toy company at one point, but realized that the toy was actually better for puppies, and so that didn't work out. But what I really found was being an entrepreneur very similar to being a swimmer. It was finding my passion again. So it was finding my passion, and very similar to swimming is when you get up on the blocks, you don't know what's going to happen, and you have to deal with that uncertainty. And every single day, being an entrepreneur, and also going through the different stages in being an entrepreneur, finding the idea, and then later finding the idea, going forward, getting VC funding, and then also we're profitable now. So dealing with the growth and the different stages of what you have to do. Go ahead.
Did any of those pre-businesses, those baby businesses, did any of those businesses help you with your current business?
Definitely.
And talk about maybe how you did those baby businesses or lemonade stand businesses.
Yeah, so I spent about a year doing baby businesses. And definitely, I think that what taught me was the fact that you just kind of have to try. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't try. And
what do you mean by that? I've heard that a lot. What do you mean by that? Because everybody sort of tries, but what do you mean by that?
Well, actually do it. So when in the swimsuit distribution, I was going to distribute these Brazilian swimsuits into California, and so I actually went out there, did a PowerPoint presentation, actually went in and cold sold to random store owners.
Who's cold sold in here? Who's cold sold? Okay, go on.
So we went in, randomly cold sold to these store owners these Brazilian bathing suits. And so it was that experience of getting yourself out there, being on the blocks, not knowing what's going to happen, and those different experiences put yourself out there. And you have to, for me, I kept trying to find an idea that would stick. And then once I found Rebel, I fell in love with it. I thought it was the best idea ever.
What do you cold sell for Rebel? And can you talk about how your baby business and translated into your success for your regular business?
For cold selling at Rebel?
Uh-huh.
I think Well, we as a business, we don't cold sell. So.
You wait for people to call you?
Yeah, basically.
How did you work that? Because I've heard people say that. How do you work it? How do you maneuver yourself to be established?
So we maneuvered ourselves because we were, like I said, how we started Rebel is we were doing an ordering app, trying to integrate into point of sale. Now doing the ordering app, we had to constantly cold sell and go knock on doors. And then we listened to the demand of what the market wanted, and then what the market really wanted was point of sale. And so we're really good with SEO, so we have all the inbounds calling us, and no one else in the market can do the enterprise level functionality that we can.
You guys can ask questions too. I would ask, because I am paying for the room, who mentored you about SEO stuff? And I mean, I just don't know about all these complicated terms. Where do I get mentored for the stuff that you're talking about? Who mentored you about SEO?
So, so my co-founder is actually really good at SEO. We don't really read much in books. We kind of read the book and then see that that's what the book's teaching and do something else. So. If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Can you talk a little bit about the background of your co-founder and how that came together?
Sure. So my co-founder's background is in cybersecurity, and he's the technical side. I'm on the business side, and we met because I wrote a blog. It was when I was doing my baby businesses, like Larry calls them, and I did a blog on entrepreneurs, and it was inspirational quotes for entrepreneurs. And he actually found my blog, commented on it, and I was actually doing a baby business at a time called Bull Sifters.
What's the URL for that?
It's Bull Sifters. I actually didn't pay the bill, so it's not on there anymore.
That's okay. Yeah, it's on Internet Archive.
It's kind of a funny idea.
Yeah, what is it?
Because I don't really like bureaucracy, and that's probably why I'm an entrepreneur. And it was basically to sift out the bull of people's like corporate lingo. So words kind of like leverage and synergy, those kind of words. I don't even remember them anymore because I don't work in a big corporation anymore. But that was the idea. So I was figuring out how to SEO that site, and then we ended up working together.
San Diego boy's got a question.
Who was your first enterprise app for? What company was your first big company? And how was that whole process? Going in, pitching to them.
Yeah.
And who else blogs in this room? Because Lisa brought up a huge point, which is blogging completely helps. It doesn't matter if you're doing like 5 blog posts a year, a minimum viable blog post, just a little bit of a blog. I mean, Lisa sounded together, she copy pasted business quotes, threw them on a blog, bam, a technical co-founder.
That's pretty much how it happened. I was really lucky.
Engineered your luck.
Oh, how did I get my first client?
Yeah, your first enterprise client.
Okay, so at Rebel, we always sell everything before we create it, for better, for worse.
Oh my God, I love you. I seriously love you with this stuff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Hamster wheel the back end. That's what they teach in Engineering 145.
Really?
Hamster wheel the back end. You should teach Engineering 145. I'm not teaching anymore. I just got kicked out.
So we always sell it before we create it. So actually,
you.
when we decided to do point of sale was actually, so have you ever been to Sausalito?
Yeah.
So it's Michael Lappert's, Lappert's ice cream.
Yeah.